I call the meeting to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So unmute everyone, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it
Republic,
stands,
one
nation under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Thank you. We would have, in other times, we would have had the Girl Scouts of America present the colors, and we would have all stood and recited the Pledge of Allegiance, and I thought it was important that all of us recite the pledge now. I would like to welcome you all to the 5th state meeting of AAUW of Oregon. As you know, we find ourselves in historic times during which we are forced to carry on our mission in new and different ways. We find ourselves tested during this pandemic to see if we measure up to our high-sounding words and our value statements. All around us, we see and hear our neighbors who are getting sick, who have lost jobs, of women who are supposed to stay home, but home is not safe for them or their children. We hear of domestic violence on the rise during these stressful times. While we all want to help, we must also guard our own health so that we do not become part of the problem. We can reach out via telephone and computer to our local agencies to ask how we may help them and help others during this time of need. We must not physically engage. To do so would stay-at-home order. Now, let's get on with what we can do. You, all of you make AAUW of Oregon what it is: strong and healthy, ready to take on any challenge, ready to help women and families in every community throughout Oregon. We have officers to elect and plans to adopt. Let's make history. Now, acknowledge the special behind-the-scenes work performed by the events coordinator, Nancy Brown. Oh, I see hands. That's nice. We learned from our last session. So I'd like to really acknowledge the behind-the-scenes work of our events coordinator, Nancy Brown, from the online branch, program vice president, Pat Squire, who put in a whole heck of a lot of work into making this, the convention, a fantastic event. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have the convention. She's from Lake Oswego. And I'm going to ask if Pat and Nancy would like to briefly address the delegates. Pat?
Sure. I guess I'll go first. I want to thank everyone who participated helping put together the convention, particularly Nancy Brown and Trish Garner from Oregon. Quite a few people from Washington participated a little more slowly than we did, but in the end, they pulled through. But I also want to thank Interbranch Council, the Portland Metropolitan Group, and specifically Kay McMurray from Vancouver, who was a great assistant on putting this convention together. And I want to thank the Lake Oswego branch for their continuing support for me as I do this job. So thanks everyone. Sorry we couldn't do it. We might be able to use some pieces of it during the summer conference. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
Thank you, Pat. Nancy Brown.
I am sorry. I'm trying to answer questions and let people in. Okay, this is the most fun ever, huh? So I want to thank you all for your tenacity and your courage for us moving forward with this online meeting. So I have just a few reminders as I'm trying to, when I removed that person from our meeting, she got barred. So I need to send her a new invitation. So I will do that as soon as I finish my comments. So how we're going to run this meeting on Zoom. We're going to raise hands to vote.
Not your physical hand, your virtual hand.
Not that hand, Peggy. A virtual hand.
Not that hand.
To locate your virtual hand, you have to have opened your participants. If you're on a computer, open your participants window, and below the list of all of us, there should be a little thing that says raise hand. Everybody's got hands raised. I hope you're just practicing. Because I'm gonna put them down. All right, I don't want your hands up right now. Oh, you people. Excellent. So that's how we're going to vote. We're going to raise hands. Good. You're good. You got it. Raise hand also if you have a comment for discussion. I can see the hands raised in the order they were raised. So then I can call on you in the order that you raise your hand. If you wish to make a motion, please enter it into the chat box. The chat box is also something that on the bottom of your screen for computers, you can open the chat window. And then you can talk amongst yourselves. You can send private messages, but I would like your motions to not be a private message. Make your motion. Who should we have motions go to? Everybody or Marie, or how should we do that, Alice?
Alice will take
it should be the secretary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Marie Mueller is your secretary. She will be accepting motions. If you have a motion, down in the bottom of your chat, it says 2. You have a little box with a down arrow. You have the listing of everybody that's here so that you can then send a private message to Marie. Marie will also be the person who you will give announcements to if we need to have, if you have an announcement that you want made at the end of the meeting. Anybody have a question about that? Go ahead and raise your hand so I can open your mic. Lucy, I unmute you. Yes.
I don't have a question about that, but I noticed the Baker girls are not on the list. Is there, you remember it was a last minute thing with Wanda Rafferty and Karen Zimmer.
They're here.
Are they here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't find them. Thank you.
They got here before you
Unmute
did.
Me.
They got here before you did.
I'm number 1.
I'm sorry?
Nothing.
She's one of the Baker girls.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question about how we're going to run this? I've got some other little comments. If you have if you need help from me, I am AAUW of Oregon. I also am here as myself because I can't vote as the host and I am a delegate. So I have another computer where I will be voting, sort of. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But anyway, that's what is. So if you need to comment to me, for general reference, submit motions, questions to Marie Mueller. Thank you, Wendy. She actually put it in the chat. Thank you, because I'm talking and hard to type at the same time. Announcements. Okay, we're going to have a brief poll at the end of the Zoom meeting, so don't run out until you see the poll. And it's just, the poll is just a few questions about your Zoom experience. Then you will be emailed a link for a Survey Monkey, which is a online survey, which just has another few questions about the meeting and about future meetings. We have a very long-winded question asking you to please submit information for future meetings. We really want your input. So that's you're able to talk and type and give us your responses. I also, Pat, put your email address if people want to give you additional comments. All right, so I think that's all. Does anyone have any questions from me right now as we're going forward?
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Cutting you off. You got work to do.
I know.
Okay. I would like to recognize the following leaders: Marty Stevens, Gresham Area Branch, online, Medford and Huntsville, Alabama. He's a member of the AAUW Board of Directors. We thank you for being with us at this annual meeting. We have additional Oregon members serving at National. Claudia Gray, Hillsborough Forest Grove Branch, is a member of the Legacy Circle team. Sarah Elmer, Bend, is on the National Finance Committee. Trish Garner, Portland, serves on the National Public Policy Committee. Also, Oregon is proud to have so many of our past state presidents active and involved in our state organization. 11 of them are here as delegates at this state meeting. Claudia Gray, Gail Clayson, Alice Bartelt, Linda O'Hara, Margene Ridout, Betsy McDowell, Marty Stevens, Penny Hudenpile, Cynthia Rauscher, Joyce Zook, and Kathy Dew. I think this is a testament to our organization that so many past presidents remain active within the organization. I applaud them. Thank you. We have 18 colleges and universities that are state members of AAUW. There are 23 CU representatives from those 18 colleges and universities. All of them were invited to be delegates here at this meeting. One responded positively. Dolores from Willamette University. She is not here as a CU representative or a CU delegate. She is here as a branch delegate. But let me list off the college universities that do have state affiliation with AAUW. Blue Mountain Community College, Chemeketa Community College, Clatsop Community College, Linfield College, Lynn Benton Community College, Oregon Coast Community College, Oregon Institute of Technology, Oregon State University Cascades, Pacific University, Portland Community College, Portland State University, Rogue Community College, Southern Oregon University, Tillamook Bay Community College, and Treasure Valley Community College just joined this year, and yay, University of Oregon and Willamette University. And so we thank them for being university partners with us. Now I would like to recognize the state leadership team members, committee chairs, and branch presidents, branch board members, and committee chairs. We appreciate the work we do. Lord knows we appreciate the work you do, because it wouldn't happen without all of these people. The branch presidents, Albany branch presidents, Barb Horn and Vicki Staffelbach, Ashland, Pam Shea, and Paula Wilkin. Astoria, Liz Bartell is the contact. Baker, Darlene Sheeler. Bend, Sarah Elmer. Corvallis, Stephanie Jorgensen is the contact. Eugene Lane, Wendy Cook. Grants Pass, Lee Bolschweiler and Suzanne Wicklin. Gresham area, Arlene Lemieux. Hillsborough Forest Grove, Claire Berger. Lake Oswego, Mary Pat Silvera. Lakeview, Deb Watts. Lincoln City, Pat Herringer. Medford, Bonnie Goldfine. Online branch, Marge Biggers. Ontario, which is a Baker satellite, Lucy Hutchins and Jean Lindley Oaks. Pendleton, Kate Mace and Karen Wagner. Portland, Sue Thomas. Roseburg, Betty Mack and Nancy Slattery. Salem, Mary Ellen Dellostrito. Seaside, Diana McLaughlin and Karen Webb. Tigard area, Ilga Ross and Marcia Brockmeyer. Tillamook, Susan Pierce. Wallowa County, Susan Gilstrap. Yamhill County, Linda O'Hara. Please give all those branch presidents a round of applause. The leadership team members, people who make up the board: Communications Vice President Marguerite Damewood from Grants Pass, Finance VP Sarah Elmer from Bend, Membership VP Gina Didium from Seaside, Program VP Pat Squire from Lake Oswego, Secretary Marie Mueller from Salem, Presidents-elect Sue Klump from Grants Pass and Pat Lehman from Wallowa County, Astoria, and online. Northeast District Director Lucy Hutchins from Ontario, Baker City. North Central District Director Nancy Dunas from Lake Oswego. Central District Director Elena Ray from Eugene Lane and online. Northwest District Director Susan Walke from Lincoln City. South District Director Joan Rycraft from Medford. AAUW Fund Chair Ilga Ross from Portland. Hefner from Pendleton. College University Relations Chair Dina Press from Grants Pass. Dues Treasurer and Database Manager Jenny Didium from Seaside. Events Coordinator Nancy Brown, Online Branch. Historian Judith Scott, Gresham Area Branch. Governance Committee Co-Chairs Betsy McDowell, Salem, and Claudia Gray, Hillsborough Forest Grove. Nominating Committee Chair Margene Ridout, Online. Oregon News Editor Julie Skinner, Portland. Parliamentarian Alice Bartelt, Portland. Public Policy Chair Trish Garner, Portland. Work Smart, Start Smart Chair Nancy Thomas, Portland. STEM Chair Kathy Gervasi, Tillamook. Webmaster and Facebook Marguerite Damewood, Grants Pass. Please give them a round of applause. Or raise your reactions. We could do that. We learned that from Nancy Brown last time. We're getting better, aren't we? We're getting good. Okay, announcements. There are a number of processes that will help the convention, that will help our state meeting run more smoothly. Credentials, you were credentialed when you were admitted to the meeting, and I cannot say enough about Mary, the work that she had put into this. I bet she had no idea what she was getting into when she accepted the job of credentials chair for this meeting. We will do our voting, as you were told, by raising our virtual hands, not by raising this hand, because we can't see these hands, especially if people are on the telephone. So we will raise our virtual hands. And you were instructed on how to do that. To make the motion, to make motions, we will type into the chat box. The site selection committee, you may be wondering, how do we select sites for our future state meetings, otherwise known as conventions? The events, we made a change last year through the work of Ilga Ross and her committee, and it was accepted last year at last year's convention. The events coordinator researches and prepares a list of venues to present to the president, or in case of for the next 2 years, to the co-presidents. Announcements will be made at the end of the business session. If you have an announcement, please type it in the chat box to Marie Mueller. Okay, we are ready to start the business session. I call the business session to order. The 95th State Annual Meeting of the American Association of University Women of Oregon is now in session. The business session will come to order. I want to introduce the people who will keep track of the many details surrounding the business meeting portions.
Georgia, can I interrupt?
Laws, oh, well, you know.
Let me interrupt for a minute because people had hands up that I missed. Marie
Okay.
Mueller had her hand up. Go ahead, Marie. I unmuted you. You muted yourself. Okay, you're ready.
I don't have anything I need to say. That was an accident.
Excellent.
All right, no other hands up?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I want to introduce the people who keep track. Okay, helping me are Marie Mueller, Secretary from Salem, Alice Bartelt, parliamentarian from Portland. She's very important. She keeps us legal and on track. And most importantly is Nancy Brown, who is running this meeting. She's running the whole back end, the whole technical end. We can't do this without her. Our timekeeper is Suzanne Harmony. And so would you please, yeah, she just waved her real hand. So would you please react and applaud? Yes, yay for these people who are running this thing. That's, I guess, how we clap. The purpose, is there a timer there? Did you time me out? The purpose of our annual meeting is to conduct the business, conduct business of the state, including the election of officers and the receiving of reports from officers and committee chairs. Officers' reports were sent to you earlier. I hope you read them. Other reports will be referenced during the business session. I sent you the officer reports 2020 on 4/3, and then I sent you the state meeting program on 4/10. Well, Mary Pat sent them. Convention committee reports. Report of the Credentials Committee. Before we have the first report by the Credentials Committee, I want to explain that some members hold more than one position in AAUW. They have the option to choose the one position in which to vote at this convention. May we now have the first report by the Credentials Committee, Mary Pat Silvera, Lake Oswego.
Unmute. Thank you very much, Georgia. I appreciate it. I would like first to note that 2 delegates submitted their credentials after the program had been finalized, the written program. They are Wanda Rafferty and Karen Zimmer, both from the Berger branch. I would like to suggest that you add their names to your program. Thank you. Of the 25 branches throughout the state, 20 are represented in our meeting today. The list of credentialed delegates includes 27 of the possible 28 members of the state leadership team, the chair of the State Convention Committee, 1 member of the AAUW National Board, 11 of a possible 20 past presidents, and 61 branch delegates out of a possible 76. The total possible, keeping in mind that some of these people do hold dual positions, the total possible, altogether there are 88 registered delegates today out of a possible 126 from the branches, the state, and national level. As chair of the Credentials Committee, I certify that this reports the number of delegates registered at this convention as of April 19, 2020 at, I cannot see the time, at 1:29 p.m. On behalf of the committee, I move the adoption of this report.
Thank you, Mary Pat. The question is on the adoption of the report of the Credentials Committee. Is there discussion? Kathleen Mace? Unmute?
I unmuted.
Yeah. What do you have a question? Comment?
I don't.
No question, Kathleen?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of adopting the report of the Credentials Committee, raise your virtual hand. Thank you.
Can't get mine to raise.
Mine either.
Nancy, help.
Doesn't give a way for me to lower everybody's hand at one time. Maybe it does here. Lower, let's see.
We can lower our own hand.
Please lower your own hand. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then lower your hands.
This is good practice.
All right. So everybody lower their hand then if they already raised their hand.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just the same place that you raised it, you lower it.
Yeah, because yeah. All right.
Excellent. Good job. Yay.
I still see some raised hands. Do you mean to have your hand raised?
I'm lowering them.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, Claire has a question. Claire Berger has a question.
All right, Claire.
Nancy Dunas has a question.
No, I don't have a question.
We're in the middle of a vote.
I was just playing with the buttons. Okay, sorry.
Okay, now, thank you. All those opposed, raise your virtual hand. Okay, thank you. The report is adopted. Okay, next. Adoption of the convention standing rules. Alice Bartelt, Portland parliamentarian, will now give the convention rules report. Alice.
Thank you. The annual meeting rules are printed in your booklet on page 8. And if people don't mind, I won't read them. And does anybody object to that?
Nancy, will you flash page 8 up?
I know, I'm doing 3 other things, just a sec. Sorry. You're right, I did need help.
No, we're not in a hurry, so take your time. Okay.
And you all have that. I had that sent out to you on April 10th.
Yeah. So on behalf of the rules, I just moved the adoption of the annual meeting rules.
Okay, yes, we will waive the reading of the rules unless there is objection. Because you all have copies and you've had them for a week. Are there any questions at this time? I don't see any hands.
Okay, good.
The question is on the adoption of the convention rules. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no little blue hands. All those in favor of the adoption of the convention rules, raise your virtual blue hand.
I can't see my
blue
hand.
You need to get us back to the screen, Nancy. We can't use our hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're all learning, you know.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, I'm going to raise my hand too. There it goes. Thank you. Okay, I'm looking at all these little blue hands. It looks like it passes. Whoops, somebody didn't raise their little, there it is. Okay. Okay, so now everybody lower their little blue hand. Okay. Thank you. All those opposed to adoption of the convention rules, raise your little blue hand. I'm seeing nothing. I'm liking that. Oops, there's some hands. We got hands opposed. We have some hands opposed.
I think it's because we can't get them down.
Okay, we got some hands opposed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opposed.
Is that true?
But they
No.
are, but they.
No, I think they need to just go over, find where they can take them down.
Okay, on where you raised them, then you can lower them.
At the same place.
The same place, the same button. The same button where you raised them, you can lower them. And even if those are opposing, then they are less than 1/3. So it passes. The convention rules have been adopted. Okay, adoption of the annual meeting agenda. If there's no objection, the agenda will be adopted for this meeting with the chair reserving the right to make any necessary changes. The changes that we need to make, well, I think it's not in the agenda, it's in the delegate list. Please add Wanda Rafferty and Karen Zimmer to the list of delegates from Berger. And change the branch for Margene from Seaside to online. We had the wrong branch listed. And the annual meeting agenda, we had, under nominating committee, we had Margene. We had Seaside listed as her branch. Her branch is not Seaside, it's online.
That's on page 5.
Yes, on page 5 of the program.
And on page 33, Pat Hines is from Wallowa County.
Okay. On page 33, so we all need to make those changes. Pat Hines is not from Eugene Lane. She's from Wallowa County. And while we're doing that, the committee to read the 2019 convention minutes, Kirsten Evanson was not at the convention last year. So it was Vicky Staffelbach who did that. From Albany. I mean, it was correct on the agenda, but it wasn't correct on page 33. Alice? Yeah. May I declare the agenda adopted with those changes?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. A special thank you goes to Pat Squire for putting together 2 books for this meeting. A special thank you goes to Betsy McDowell for putting together the state program. this annual 95th meeting program. Betsy McDowell put this together with the help of Claudia Gray while she was in bed recovering from surgery. Man, going over and above board. Amazing.